So, last weekend I was up in Mont Tremblant. We'd taken the girls up for a few days. My wife and I were browsing a local shop when all of a sudden my daughter comes up to me with a plush s'more in hand. Two little marshmallows squished into a graham cracker, no bigger than the palm of my hand. $65. And she asked me the question that every parent eventually gets: Daddy, can we get it? Please? I caught myself about to do the easy thing. Just say yes, bring it to the cash, move on with the rest of the day. But in that half second, I saw something a lot bigger than a toy plush. You see, she's already learning how money works in this family. Right now, before she has any idea what it's worth, where it comes from, how easily it leaves, whether it's something you think about or something you don't. She's getting a money education from me, whether I mean to give her one or not. And that's what stopped me cold. It's not that I don't understand money. I've been around it my whole life. But understanding it myself and knowing how to pass it down to my daughter who just tried to buy a $65 marshmallow, well, those are two different things. She's not going to have to piece it together the way most people do. I'm going to hand her that education on purpose, starting now. I'm 36, 17 years in the financial industry, husband, father of two, and man of faith. If you've been around this channel, you already know that I don't usually lead with money. But this one isn't really a money video. It's a fatherhood video that happens to be about money. Because how you handle a dollar says more about who you are than almost anything else you'll ever pass down. One quick thing before I go further. Nothing here is financial advice, and I'm not your advisor. I'm just a father thinking out loud about what I want to hand down to my girls. Because here's the truth. I can give my girls money. That's the easy part. But what I actually want to give them is a relationship with it. And a good relationship with money is rarer than the money itself. I spent a whole career watching who had one and who didn't. So these are the lessons, the ones I'll spend the next 2 decades teaching my two little girls, starting now, while they're still watching everything that I do. But first, let me actually tell you how I got my money education. My parents taught me the value of a dollar, that you leave the next generation better off than you found it. But I got something most kids never do. My mother spent decades as a financial planner, so the actual mechanics of money, how it grows, how it disappears, how to make it work while you sleep, I grew up with that at the kitchen table. That's rare. For almost everyone else, that conversation just never happens at home. At school, 13 years of it, and not one class on the thing you'll deal with every single day for the rest of your life. So most people learn money the hard way, by accident, somewhere in their 20s or 30s, one expensive mistake at a time. I got lucky twice. I grew up with it in the house, and then I spent my whole career around it, watching thousands of people up close do it the right way and do it the wrong way. I got the lesson without ever having to pay for the mistake. That's a head start almost no one gets. My girls aren't going to need luck. They've got a father who already drew the map, the same one my mother started for me, and I'm not going to keep it to myself. The first lesson I'll teach them is that money has to feel earned, even when I'm the one giving it to them, because I do plan to give them a head start. I'm working right now, in the hours after they go to bed, partly so that one day they'll have doors open that I had to force myself. But a head start you didn't earn isn't a gift, it's a weight. I've watched it. People handed money they never had to work for, and it didn't set them free. It made them a little soft, a little lost, because they never got to feel the thing that money is actually supposed to stand for. Effort, turned into something real. So my girls are going to earn. They'll have their own money before it matters. A few dollars that came from actual work that they get to decide what to do with when they're older. I want them to feel the weight of that dollar in their hand and know exactly what it cost. That's the only way the number ever means anything. I can hand them a launch pad. What I can't hand them is the feeling of having built something. That part they have to earn, and I'd be robbing them if I tried to skip it for them. The second lesson I'll teach them is the one that I wish I'd started even earlier on myself. Start now. There's exactly one advantage in all of money that you cannot buy, borrow, or earn back once it's gone, and that's time. A small amount left alone long enough quietly turns into an amount that looks impossible. Not because of some genius move, because it sat there and grew year after year while the person who owned it did nothing but wait. And here's the part that gets me. The person on earth with the most of that advantage is a child. My girls have more time right now today than I can ever get back or that I will ever have again. So I'm not waiting for them to grow up to put it to use. My wife and I already started, quietly, in the background, a little set aside now, left alone, with 15 or 20 years to grow before they even know it's there. They have no idea we're doing it, and that's exactly the point. The most valuable thing I can give them isn't the money, it's the time attached to it. Their clock is already running. One day, when they're old enough to understand, I'll show them what those quiet early years turned into, and they'll learn the most important rule in all of money from their own account, not from a lecture. I can't get back my own time, but I can make sure that not one of their years gets wasted. The third lesson is the one that I feel the most in my gut. Because they're girls and because of what I've watched. Money handled right is freedom. And freedom, for someone I love, is protection. 17 years behind the desk, I saw the same quiet tragedy more than once. People stuck in a job that was eating them alive, stuck in a house, a city, sometimes stuck in a situation they needed to walk away from and couldn't. Not because they didn't see the door, because they couldn't afford to walk through it. I never want that to be my daughters. I want them to build the kind of independence where the word no is always available to them. No, I won't stay in this job. No, I won't tolerate this. No, I don't need anyone to rescue me. I want them to have their own money in their own name before they ever need it, so that no one ever gets to control them through it. That's not me raising them to be cold or not to trust anyone. It's the opposite. It's making sure that when they choose someone or something, they're choosing it freely, never because they were trapped. The most protective thing that a father can teach a daughter about money is this. It's the difference between staying somewhere because you chose to and staying because you had no other option. The fourth lesson runs against almost everything the world is about to teach them. You see, no matter how we raise them, the world out there is going to hold up a screen with a highlight reel. Everyone richer, everyone shinier, everyone performing a life. And the loudest lesson that world teaches is that money is for showing. I'm going to teach them the opposite. Real money is quiet. The people I watched actually build something almost never looked the part. The flashiest ones in the room were usually the most fragile. One bad month from the whole thing coming apart. And the ones who were genuinely free, you'd never pick them from a crowd. They weren't performing well, they were just quietly holding it. You see, the loudest wallet in the room is always the emptiest. So I want my girls to find their worth somewhere a number can't reach, so they never feel the pull to prove it with a logo or a car or a balance in an app. Spend money on the life that you actually want, not the other way around. The quietest person in the room is very often the freest one in it. I want them to be that person. But every one of those lessons can build real wealth and still produce a greedy, empty person. Because there's one last lesson that sits on top of all of them. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It's a very good tool for building a life and a completely useless tool at telling you what that life should be for. I could teach my girls every single thing I know about building wealth, and if that were all I gave them, I'd have failed them. Because what actually makes a person rich is something that money never touches. Their father putting his phone down and being present, a kitchen table everyone comes back to, a quiet conscience, people who love you for who you are, not what you own. I'm sitting in a house I'm paying off years ahead of schedule. And I promise you, not one of the things that makes me feel wealthy has a price tag on it. So here's what I've come to believe from watching what money does to people. It doesn't change a person. It magnifies them. It makes a generous person more generous and a greedy one more greedy. So the real work was never building the money. It was becoming someone it's safe to hand money to. My faith is what does that work in me, and it's why I can hold it with an open hand instead of a closed fist. That's exactly how I want my girls to hold it. Open-handed, grateful, free. So, back to that little shop with my daughter. She's still far too young for any of this. Right now, money is just a word she hears, a plush s'more she wants, and a dad who sometimes says, not today. She won't remember a single one of these lessons yet, but she's going to remember the feeling. Whether her dad was calm about money or stressed about it. Whether he chased it or held it steady. Whether the man teaching her about freedom actually looked free himself. So the first lesson isn't something I'll say. It's something I have to be. Long before I ever explain a single one of these to her, she'll have already learned the most important part by watching me live it. That's the whole reason I'm building this out in the open. Not for the money, for the 2 girls who are going to grow up and watch it back one day. Now, every one of these depends on one thing I haven't talked about yet: the discipline to actually live them when nobody's making you. For 3 years, I thought the answer to that was motivation. It's not. It wasn't even close. Next week, I'll show you what actually replaced it. And if you're new here, the video right before this one is where I break down the actual money behaviors that I've lived by. That's the one to watch next. It's up on screen. If that's useful to you, subscribe and stick around. I'm rebuilding out loud every week. Discipline, wealth, legacy. I'll see you in the next one.